Tekashi 6IX9INE was arrested on October 29, 2024 for violating his parole. It's deeper than you think. The rapper's snitching history could have been all for nothing, putting him in life-altering situations fast. They put him away with the same most wanted group he snitched on. This is a high-stakes event that could lose career, freedom, or even his life.
But the feds is a whole different situation. You know, when you look at a federal indictment, it'll say the United States of America versus your name. You're now going up against the entire country with unlimited resources.
That's a fact.
Locked up, they say snitches get stitches, or even worse could happen. Could this extend his sentences he was charged with previously of close to 50 years? First, let's turn back to 2018. Tekashi was initially taken into custody on federal charges at this point. He would spend almost half a lifetime in locked up for his affiliation to one of the most infamous groups in New York. This was very important. Trafficking, conspiracy. These were not merely stories. Supported by indisputable proof and associated with some of the most wanted criminals in the city, these were cold, hard truths. But Tekashi chose shockingly different path. He negotiated rather than serving a long term, which didn't sit well with the rap community.
The guy in the red jacket, blue and white, is Midnight.
Who's Midnight?
He was the one who held the big homie status in Smurf Village, in the housing project right across the street from Kuda.
Was he a Nine Trey member?
Yes, sir.
Everyone turning their back on him, he started acting as a government informant. And this was not any average bargain. He gave detailed evidence linking big bosses to direct events in order to save himself.
I did what people say, oh, you should have did. You guys move on with your life. I throw my whole life away to please you, to please them. I'm gonna throw my whole life away, throw millions of dollars away so you get money, party, and me rot away in a prison.
Names like Kafano, Shotty Jordan, and Jamel Murda Jones, powerful men in charge of New York's street life. Tekashi's assistants helped them to be sentenced harshly, but in return, Tekashi turned out a free man. His initial 47-year sentence cut short. He is accused of parole violations, a mistake that may ruin the same system he so diligently secured.
The ringleader of the Nine Trey Gangsters. Federal prosecutors say Simmons, also known as, and 5 other gang members from Portsmouth and Norfolk, 2 men and 3 women, most of whom had no affiliation with that gang or any other. One of the victims was a mother, randomly while walking home from her shift at work.
Not only is violating parole as a government informant bad, this is a disaster. Although this agreement was meant to shield him, breaching its terms exposes him to resentencing and maybe the type of jail sentence he believed he had dodged. Tekashi is not simply counting time spent behind bars. He is looking at going back to a society in which his participation targets him. Imagine yourself seated in a cell with a price on your head, a marked man in a place where rivals know exactly who you are and what you have done.
If another TMZ staff member kidnaps you, is that loyal to you? You're working right now, probably stealing all of the money that you're making right now and gives you crumbs of it, but it's taking majority of the money. Is that loyal to you?
Tekashi has been creating waves in a different field, the Spanish music market. So if you're wondering why he hasn't been generating as much news recently, Tekashi had begun emphasizing Spanish language music with his new record label deal, aiming at a whole new audience and investigating a market with millions of committed listeners. Additionally, working was the plan. For the Latin music world, he was reinventing his image and carving out a name for himself beyond the issue. But now with this arrest, that momentum has stopped completely.
You have a girl. That's your friend. Would you sleep with his girl?
Hell no.
But why
I never
not?
would. Because loyalty.
Loyalty.
Fuck yeah.
But if we're street dudes, do you do that? My excuse is like, but you knew what you signing up for. You knew what you signing up for. You knew that could happen. That doesn't happen.
Endangering his developing Spanish career as well as the millions connected to it. He lately secured a well-publicized contract with a Spanish record label valued in millions. One main requirement of the deal, though, was to keep out of trouble. That arrangement might as well have burned off the instant his arrest made headlines. Imagine losing millions because of a parole violation, not because of the music or the competitiveness. This was more than simply a corporate failing.
Son called from jail and said, yo, you see how right? Harlem get busy. No, that your baby shot when you would say the whole Harlem was applauding. Oh, rats, me posting rats. Outpost walking around Harlem smacking the out of and Facts.
The response from the hip-hop scene has been intense. Although Tekashi's past as a snitch was previously debatable, this arrest starts the discussion once more. Is he simply someone who broke the street rules or perhaps a rapper?
I feel like the world is not fair. There's people out there miserable at their own lives that they try to make you feel bad for the way you act. You are. All of the things I've been through in life, they mean to the person I am today.
Once working with him, artists are now chiming in. Some are expressing shock, others remark, "I told you so." And now the most important question, what direction Tekashi 6ix9ine is headed?
I know what happened. My cousin got locked up for a murder. He didn't do it. The guy in the red shirt did it. He shouldn't be locked up for something that he did. My cousin didn't do that. It was the guy with the red shirt. They got the wrong guy. You just incriminated another man.
Right.
Is that snitching?
Violations of parole do not magically vanish. He may be staring at a revised sentence, and his prospects for forgiveness have sharply diminished since he is a repeat offender. Already under observation are federal agencies. Once Tekashi was a valuable witness, but the government would not treat someone who cannot follow the conditions of their agreement too gently.
Tekashi 6ix9ine has been arrested for actually violating the conditions supervision release.
He pleaded not guilty, so he is legally innocent until proven guilty. Whether it's from former members, snitch haters, hanging around with him means walking in line of fire. The threat affects everyone surrounding Tekashi's safety as much as his freedom. His affiliations do not just evaporate overnight. Still out there are those ties as well as the foes he created along the road, and the stakes only rise. Some say Tekashi would try negotiating his way out of problems once more, but more could he provide? His alternatives are few, and his credibility may be damaged once his criminal links come to light. Who's to guarantee the authorities will allow him another break, even if he helps more? For many, this event seems like deja vu. Stars have found themselves in like circumstances. Well-publicized incidents involving musicians and rappers who negotiated the criminal justice system only to find themselves backsliding on parole infractions or fresh charges.
Was King Von a stand-up tour?
King Von was a get busy.
All right, so why was he lacking? Why was he lacking?
You know what?
Why was he lacking? So what
Understand
is King Von right now?
He's dead.
But Tekashi's predicament is unique. Being a cooperating witness distinguishes him and qualifies him as among the most high-risk informants of recent years. And the media conjecture mounts as his career hangs precariously. Is he able to bounce from this? Alternatively, is this really the end? Given all of this, safety is clearly a concern. Should Tekashi's release come about, it would mean returning to a society in which many see him as a marked man. Every stride he makes and every person he hangs about bears a possible danger.
Today, the rapper, whose real name is Daniel Hernandez, was arrested on domestic violence charges Wednesday.
Public safety issues are really real rather than only imaginary. And should Tekashi go front stage once more, he may be jeopardizing everything simply by being seen. This most recent arrest doesn't only upend his life, it causes waves to sweep throughout the life of everyone he knows. Every member of his family, friends, even his supporters suffer some kind of collateral damage as you are seen supporting his actions. Although the Nine Trey group may be behind him, not anyone, their world is not readily forgotten. Tekashi's deeds and affiliations have long-lasting effects outside of the jail gates.